right, Jeff.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thanks for tuning in Tuesday night. A couple of announcements to make before we get started. Number one, pardon my red eyes. Again, my allergies are kicking up in the good old musty state of North Carolina at the moment. I have not been drinking, I promise. And we want to let you know that we are moving the schedule around a little bit. I know we went to the every other week format with the Zooms. We're still going to do that, but we're going to move the nights to Wednesday. We're going to see how that works for everybody. Somebody suggested, well, let's put it to a vote, but I think with a group that this large, that's just asking for chaos. So we're going to try doing a product Zoom next Wednesday, and then doing the corporate Zoom that I do with Billy every other week on Wednesday as well. So Wednesdays will be the nights. I hope that works for everybody, and we'll go from there. So as you know, we made a really, really cool announcement last week via an email. I think, did we send out an email? I know we posted it and sent the information out about something we're doing and taking the next step up. And as I said in my message to everybody, I believe that Reaction is an elite product line. We're an elite product, and an elite product deserves an elite presentation. So one thing I love about working with Candace and the other people in the office is that, you know, when we talk about ideas, it's the decisions are made. This is so great watching these guys work, because they don't debate something for 3 or 4 months. They literally get the information, make a decision, and they're on it. So we talked about a month ago about improving the packages for when people receive their products. My idea, and I say my idea, but it's nothing that hasn't been talked about collectively, was to, you know, I think people should be excited when they open that envelope or whatever it is. So I thought, you know what, a little U.S. Postal Service box and bubble wrap to me wasn't really doing it. I think it was time to take a step up. Again, another thing, another tool, just another thing that helps you represent what I believe we all know, at least the people that are here certainly are aware of the fact that that we believe in this product. So as you saw in the pictures, we have several different boxes that we're going to be sending things out. These will come in, I believe, large envelopes, basically, padded maybe, don't quote me on that. And everybody's simple ship that will fit in this box will be coming out in a box like this. Of course, it's backwards now, because that's what the computer does. But and I don't have the green tissue paper, but the products are going to be in there, and they're going to be green tissue paper. And so when people get it, they know exactly what it is, and they can be excited about it. Again, that's for the simple ships that will fit in that box, and I'll mess with that later. For larger orders, we've got the larger size of the white box, same thing, but it's really, really cool looking. The next couple of boxes, which some of you may have seen the pictures, to me are really, really cool. These were ordered some time ago, but because of shipping and transportation, took a while to get. But these are really slick. These are for people that, when they enroll, order either the Director's Pack, Executive Director's Pack, or the Emerald Pack. Their products will be coming in these boxes. I don't know if you can see these real well, but it's a black matte box that has a magnetic flap on the front like this, and it has a foam insert. I don't know if you can see the inserts there real well, but cutouts in there for the products. And boom, boom. And the cool thing about these are, and we'll check to see if anybody can retroactively qualify to get one of these and how they do that. Because I tell you, if you are doing something like a Facebook Live, or you're having a live presentation, or just talking to somebody, these are great to just set out and have some product in front of it. At our live presentation, we had these boxes, had this with a nice little bamboo plant about 15 inches tall, and some product, and it really, really was a nice presentation. There's a larger box as well. You can see this, that is even larger for the larger orders and stuff. And like I said, same thing, flap, cutouts, inserts, and these are really, really nice. I can tell you that as far as I know, no other direct marketing CBD and or full spectrum product has this level of presentation with their products. I know some people have talked about getting these things in some offices. I don't think Mary is on tonight because she's working, but she's a hairdresser and she has the product for sale in her salon. And this would look great on the shelf in front of the product. It really, really is slick. There's some more news that we're still not ready to share, but I will say that the news that's coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks, hang on, because personally, I believe, and we've had some great announcements. We've had some really cool announcements, some really cool things we've worked on. The announcement we're going to be making in a couple of weeks is to date the best announcement yet. And that's all I can say, and I'm sorry. I wish I could say more, but it is the best announcement to date. So if you have people that are interested, tell them it's on the way, and that'd be a great time to jump in. So anyway, so as some of you know, I did a Facebook Live about 2 weeks ago, I guess, or a week and a half ago. And it was really an overview, kind of a condensed version of a mini presentation, I called it, with some information about some CBD, information about reaction products, what makes us different, etc. It's my goal to do at least a weekly Facebook Live, and sometimes generating content gets a little difficult, so don't hold me to that. But my goal is to talk about some different things. Now, this is going to be Jeff talking. It's not going to be necessarily as the VP of Corporate Communications for My Life Simple. This is going to be me talking, and so I am going to be talking about general topics like full spectrum and CBD, etc. As well as, of course, there's always the angle that I am working with a product in a company that I love. So that will always be a part of it. But these are general kind of videos that after the Facebook Live, or if I do a YouTube video and then make it shareable, you can use it on a Facebook Live. It's designed to give you, again, more links and more tools to take your pick to send to people if they have certain questions. So I believe Thursday night I'm going to be doing another Facebook Live, and I'm going to be calling it MLMs, What They Don't and Won't Tell You. And this is a general thing. It's not necessarily specifically designed for, of course, those of you that are on the Zoom tonight, or even ambassadors in our company, but for general people who might, Google something about MLMs. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, and I think this helps kind of from a non-biased perspective, helps explain some of this stuff. So I think that's really important, and that'll be Thursday night. So what led me, and I'm going to kind of bounce around tonight. This is not the finished format, but these are the kind of things I'm going to be talking about on Thursday night. And based on tonight, I'll go back and look at my notes and figure out how to present it in a very brief, concise way. My Facebook Lives aren't designed to go 30, 45 minutes. For right now, I'm calling it the weekly 15, which is 15 minutes, one topic, and that. Although there are some topics that might require a little bit more than 15, like the one we have I'm sharing tonight. So MLMs. If you were in front of me right now, I'd say, who, by a show of hands, has encountered, if not the question, because we've talked about this in the past as far as understanding the difference between schemes and legitimate businesses, pyramids, et cetera, et cetera. And we talked, briefly about, not addressing objections so they come up. But I do believe that for me, and I would imagine for all of you, that some people you talk to, if they don't voice it, then they at least have that idea, and you can sense it in their energy that they're thinking, all right, is this one of those things? This is where I'd ask you, all of you, by a show of hands, who has suspected that there are some people that you talk to that may have had this feeling? And how to counter that. So again, I'm going to tailor this conversation for you guys tonight, knowing that we're in a company that you should be proud of, and you really, really need to be able to not only believe and accept, but to be able to explain why. The way this came up for me, guys, was last week I was researching and checking out videos and all that kind of stuff. And I came across a podcast that two women were doing. It's a series called Stuff Your Mom Never Told You, I think. And their topic was MLMs. And I sat and listened to it. It was about an hour long. And these were two women on essentially an online radio show, if nothing else. And they were saying a lot of things. And granted, there were a lot of things that they said that had, some grains of truth in them. But there was also an awful lot of stuff where they were only presenting one side of the topic. And I found myself getting really, really worked up. They talked and they would, have 300 sentences, and every 300 sentences, they slip in one sentence about the fact that, oh, but there's good companies out there too, after basically trashing the entire industry for 300 sentences. Now, I like talking to people who disagree with me, whether it's life or whether it's anything. I love people who disagree with me, especially when they can tell me why. I don't really respond to people who basically just do nothing but talk based on an uninformed opinion. If somebody had a personal experience, well, then tell me about that personal experience. But if you have just an opinion, and that's what it struck me that these two women were doing, I found it to be rather irresponsible, to be honest with you. Well, doing some more listening and research, there are a slew of videos online trashing MLM marketing. I watched one today, and I thought, listening to this girl talk, I'm like, man, she is on a personal crusade to trash this business model as if her life depended on it. And then I think in her third video, she said she never really had any experience. She's never even been in it, but she was approached about it. So we're going to talk about some of those standard bits of information and sound bites that people pick up and they walk around. Again, there's a stigma attached to multi-level marketing. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why that stigma exists and how to understand, how to ask the right questions. If there's somebody that is looking to get into an opportunity like this, what questions to ask, what to look for, how to tell the difference between, if not an outright scam or scheme or fraud, there are still a lot of companies that would be referred to as legitimate that still toe the line as far as the overall presentation. So with that, I want to start with just a little brief history of MLM and how it started and why it started and how and why it's gotten to where it's gotten to today. First of all, it is still, I believe, the biggest distribution model, generating more income than any other model in the world. So that's the first thing we have as far as the figures. So it's grown into something that's quite substantial and quite legitimate. So in 1934, now keep in mind 1934 was just on the tail end of the Depression, or still in the Depression, I guess. There was a company called California Vitamin Company that was the first company to employ a direct sales model. And in 1934, they started this, and it was basically designed to get people to use their products and then share them with their friends. That's network marketing. When you approach your friends, your network of acquaintances, people, contacts, etc. That was the first network marketing company right there. Direct sales. Direct sales, again, is when the manufacturer of a product eliminates all the logistical middlemen and goes right to the consumer. As we've talked about, there's reasons why companies do this. There are legitimate reasons why company does it this way. To be honest with you, if we didn't have this model available to us, we would never be able to bring reaction to market. It's as simple as that. The startup costs for a product like this to generate inventory, and I've used the Shark Tank example before. If you see Shark Tank, the first thing people are looking for is money to fill purchase orders and or generate inventory. So there's a legitimate reason. There are others as well, but it's known as the fastest way to get your product out to the most people in the shortest amount of time for the least amount of money. That's why companies do it, and it works. Also, when you have a product like ours, you got to fight for shelf space. You have to pay for shelf space. And if you're one of the big companies, whether you're a Nabisco or Procter & Gamble, it's no problem for you to get shelf space. But if you're a new product, it's very difficult. And we have a product that needs explaining. It needs conversation, needs engagement. So those are the reasons why a company comes to market with a product in this way. So that's 1934. They start that. I think in 1943, then, they unveiled the multi-level marketing component of their direct sales model. And by the way, don't anybody take me to court if I'm off of my dates a little bit here. But in 1943, they started compensating people that were brought into the business. Originally, they would give their people, they would use the product, and they would give them, they would enroll, and then they would give them, I think, $50 a month. Now, can you imagine $50 a month in 1934? That's a pretty good gig, actually. And they paid for what that didn't exist at the time, which is television advertising and online digital marketing and stuff like that. So $50 for people was a big thing. So this started, like I said, very simply, as a way to get people to use their product, experience it, and share it with their friends. Their friends then found out that they also could make money doing this, and so that's how this was born. In 1943, it became changed its name to a company called Nutrilite, not Nutrilife, Nutrilite, and they are the first company to employ the multi-level marketing compensation plan. The multi-level marketing is when you get paid on different levels. Okay. Now, there's different ways to look at this, and we can talk about some of the good ways and what some of people will say some of the bad ways of looking at this. But fast forward that story a little bit. There were two guys that joined in 1949, were with the company for 10 years. With them at the helm, the company exploded. And they were guys that really thought that traditional sales jobs were patently and inherently unfair, because they felt that if the company continued to benefit for work that they had done once, shouldn't they continue to benefit as well? And that's where the word residual comes in, is when you get paid for work that continues to reap benefits to the company, you also continue to get paid. Now, up until I think the 1960s, I was an actor for 25 years, as most of you know. And before the 1960s or late 60s, early 70s, there were no residuals until they were negotiated into the contracts for the Screen Actors Guild. So all those people on Gilligan's Island and those old 1960s shows, you're thinking, wow, they must be loaded. They're not, because they got paid once. And the unfair part about that is that if you're an actor and you've got your day rate or your weekly rate, you did the work once, and it would be on, let's say, it would be in the movie theater. And then 2 years later, it would be released again. Now, and then in the 70s, when syndication became popular, it would be a little bit unfair for an actor to do the job once, especially if that actor is one of the reasons why people are watching the show, and only get paid once if they're continuing to replay that on 300 channels and, just run the heck out of it. Same thing with movies now with all the streaming services and stuff. So when you did a movie, it went to the theaters, but then when they sold it rather to cable TV, you got paid again. I still get. There was a movie I was in called The American President that I got cut out of. I still get checks for that. Of course, they're like 9 cents and 11 cents at this point, but that's the idea of what residual income is. Now, while people are talking about all this, they'll paint it as nonsense as far as people making money on the people they bring to the business. That, I think, is ludicrous. It's ridiculous. If you're a salesman at, like this girl today on the video, she's a salesman at Sephora, traditional sales job. She probably got a base salary and then she got commission. Well, what if she goes on vacation for 2 weeks and one of her customers comes in? She doesn't get credit for that sale, even though that's a relationship that she's building. If those people tell other people, so shouldn't you continue to benefit as the company continues to benefit? I think so. Anyway, so I'm going to try not to ramble too much and address, defend us as a company tonight against some of the things that I heard that were said, and try to stick to the topic of what they don't and won't tell you. First thing is the questions to ask. If anybody is interested but says, I have some misgivings, if it's one of those things, it's a pyramid, it's a scam. There's two main ways to find out whether it's a scheme or a legitimate business. Those two ways is if you are providing a system without a service or a product. Essentially, that becomes a cash pyramid, Ponzi scheme, whatever you want to call it. People at the top get in, people at the bottom come in, pay their money, it filters to the top, and then it recycles and all that kind of stuff. That is basically a cash pyramid, and that's what people get hung up on because it's the geometric shape that it's shaped in. There's not a company in the world that isn't shaped the same way. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I believe this is the most important thing if I leave you with anything tonight, this is it. The difference between a scheme and a legitimate business is, are you paid or compensated for bringing people to the business? Now, there's no gray area. Bottom line is, when they sign up, do you get a bonus, not for products that they purchase, but do you get a bonus out of their enrollment fee? I may have mentioned this to all of you. Recently, I saw a video of a friend of mine that's involved in a company. This was a past company, actually, and they don't tell you this. They don't tell you when you're signing up, because I don't think they want you to know, to be honest with you, until you've already taken the bait. They will not tell you that you get paid. They'll kind of skirt around it. I even heard one presentation from a guy that talked to me years ago about something and said, you know what, this is really complicated. I won't go into all of it now, but there's a bunch of ways to make money. You know, just get in, get your spot, and then we'll go over all that. If you stand to benefit and achieve a personal gain from somebody signing up, that's a scheme. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you cut it. This friend's company that I was talking about, I saw the video. After you sign up, you get the video, you get to see it, and you find out that if you sign somebody up, they enrolled for $499. Now, they get products worth probably $50, $60. So let's just say $499, let's say there's $450 left. You, as the person that brought them to the business, get $250. The company probably keeps $200. Now, can everybody see the problem with that? And this is why there's such a stigma. Because people believe that their friends are willing to deceive them, mislead them, lie to them, do whatever they can to get them to sign up because of what they stand to gain. That, to me, is the biggest thing. And I want you to remember this, because if you are faced with somebody who is cautious, you might even ask them why. And if they say this is one of the things that you need to share with them. Because you do not personally gain. I could sign up 100 people for the $25 package. I get nothing from that. Absolutely nothing. Nor do you. But there's a reason people believe this. It's because it's true. There are people. I find this whole thing between a scheme and everything. It's not just the bad companies with comp plans like this. There are, again, the good companies. Let's use that term loosely. Companies that seem legitimate, that still have a component built in for signing people up. And that's what people don't trust. Not only do they not trust it, but they also don't feel comfortable if that's the model you're asking them to follow when they get signed up. Go out and sign up, people, and you'll make $250. And they'll spend 20 minutes talking about how much money you can make at $250 a person. You sign up 10 people, that's $2,500. So I find that a lot of the problem too is what people are being told by the individual ambassadors. I've watched a lot of videos too of people during their presentations. People have recorded them and shown them online, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody would say that, because it just sounds ridiculous, to be honest with you. But again, that's really important. Do you stand to gain personally by adding bodies? That is a red flag. Run for the hills. So that's really important. Now, let's talk about simple ships, because people seem to have a problem with this too. People like, well, you have to sign up and you've got to order so much product a month, etc. And here's a couple of differentiating factors. Number one, are you being asked to commit to purchasing more products than you as an individual can reasonably consume during a 30-day period? Because there are companies that, number one, are asking you to buy way more product than you'll ever use, or that you'll ever sell when you're getting started. So that's another thing to look for. What is your commitment? What is your obligation? Again, I've used the cable TV example. Cable TV, that's an auto ship. So I don't have to sign up or go in and order my TV every month. I get it all the time, you know? So that's an example. Now, if they sent me 3 different subscriptions for the same cable TV package and I had to sell 2 of them, because I certainly can't watch 3 of them. That's another thing to look for, is not the simple ship, the nature of the simple ship instead. That's part of the business model. It's the model that says, we want you, and again, the network term is, or the industry term is being a product of the product. We want you to experience the product. You know how many salespeople work for companies that are out there every day selling stuff they don't use, selling stuff they don't believe in, but that's their job? There's a lot. So this, in its best form, can have more integrity than somebody, you know, who is out slaving away in the corporate world. Also, what happens in the corporate world is, if you are not asked to purchase for yourself as a salesman, you are asked to sell a certain amount. It's called a quota. You have a quota, and if you don't reach that quota, do you know what happens? You get fired. And the worst part is, do you know what happens when you reach the quota? You get a higher quota to reach the next month. So they won't tell you about these things. And again, beware of the people that are going to tell you, oh, I'll go into all that later. There's certain questions that you should even help your potential prospects ask and say, these are the things you need to look for. And these are the questions you need to ask in terms of how you differentiate. And again, I'll go over my 4 things, towards the end. But that's another thing to look for, is the simple ship. Now, I heard, and I am rambling here and defending it a little bit. I heard, there were during this girl's talk that, they're promised that they're going to make a bunch of money, that they can get rich, and there's Facebook posts of them on a beach and all that kind of stuff. And I heard, I almost want to reach out to this girl and say, I'd love to talk with you, because it's clear you don't even understand the basic concept of what marketing is. Now, again, there's a fine line that goes from marketing into just flat out lying. If you are, sitting, next to your pool in the backyard and put a palm tree up and say you're on vacation with the money you made from Reaction, I don't know, that's up to you, but that seems a little dishonest to me. And it takes away from what you're going to get out of it when it actually does happen. But this idea that somehow marketing among MLM companies is somehow fraudulent is ridiculous. Marketing is the concept of telling people how to feel about something. And a lot of times, that something is you or that particular person. So to suggest that, well, you got pictures of cars and vacations and boats and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, get it. Sales depends on a lot of emotion, certainly. I mean, I know there's whatever, I'm not going to call it that on a company Zoom, but there's medicine, for instance, to help a man become a man again. Where's he? He's not in the bathroom, hasn't showered in 3 days. Where is he? He's on a beach, in a bathtub, holding hands with his woman. That's as much of a stretch as suggesting that you can achieve these wonderful things by doing this business. Another thing they'll talk about is anybody can do this. Now, here's my problem. This goes back to what they don't and won't tell you. They will tell you that it's easy. They will tell you that you can make a bunch of money. They will tell you that anybody can do it. And that's not the truth. It's just not the truth. Not everybody can do this. I believe that everybody that wants to can, but not everybody wants to and doesn't want to bad enough. So that's important to know too, is that people that want to do this can. When you look at the statistics, and you'll find them all over the internet, about 1% makes this in network marketing, and 5% make this, and 10% make this. Yeah, I get that. I think, and they'll say, well, their company will say that a certain amount of people aren't really doing the business. But so let's factor in the people that aren't really doing the business, that they're in it just for the product and the discount they receive, which again is a very legitimate practice. The fact that we're going to give you, by basically pledging your loyalty, we're going to give you a discount on the product. And that's completely legitimate. I lost my train of thought. Help me. With the idea that anybody can do this. I have a business, and I know it requires some special skill as far as selling trade show exhibits, but whether it's a widget or a trade show exhibit, that's very simple to do, but I wouldn't say that everybody can do it. So of the numbers, of the statistics is what I was talking about, the statistics of the people that actually achieve something. You know what, again, I went to Los Angeles as an actor, and the first thing people tell you is, it's a tough business. Only 5 people in SAG make a certain amount of money. Yeah, that's true. But there are a lot of them that are in SAG that really aren't pursuing acting as a career. They got Taft-Hart leading to the union for one job. They're not doing it. So you got to factor that in. But then you've also got to factor in all of the people that I would call bad actors. That's why they're not making any money, because they're bad actors. So there are a lot of people that join MLMs because they make decisions based on emotion and sheer optimism rather than making an informed decision of commitment. So why somebody gets in, and there are a lot of people, and this is again network marketing, that wants to again kind of massage you and seduce you with the emotion of the trips and all the money you can make and all that kind of stuff. They'll again paint the idea that you can do this, and no, you have to want it. You also have to receive help from the company. Another one of the things that they won't tell you is that it's very important to consider who it is that's asking you to join their business. They won't tell you this. My first experience in a network marketing company 15 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever it was, I was brought in by a friend, and I won't go into all where you're placed and all that kind of stuff, because the bottom line is, are there better spots? Yeah, depending on who you've got on your team. The suggestion in network marketing is that all the people above you are going to make money off of you, but you're not going to benefit from anything they do. That's nonsense in a binary system, because people above you are going to be putting people, if they continue to build their business, below you. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So you are getting help. The key is to make sure you understand who it is that's asking you to join the business. So when you're talking to people saying, listen, I'll be with you, because here's the difference. Somebody who's getting into it and makes it their business to do nothing but hound you and pursue you about, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing Facebook Lives? Why aren't you posting? Why aren't you doing this? If they give up building their own business and make their business just trying to I won't say motivate or inspire, because there's a difference, but trying to push you and be aggressive. And there are people in this business that are like that. And that's why people have these stigmas about it. I'm very much still building my business. I've added, 3 or 4 people in the last 10 days. And I will continue to put people under people. There are people that haven't really gotten off the ground yet that are still struggling, but if they go to their tree, they can see they've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people below them. And they benefit from that too. So that's another myth, that you don't benefit. In a binary system, you do benefit from the people above you. But the myth is that the people complain about, oh, you're just there and the people at the top do all this. It is completely possible, unlike corporate America, for you to make more money than the person above you or the person at the top. It's quite possible, depending on your efforts and your results. They won't tell you that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And again, all of these messages they have for you are tainted if there is a personal gain for them. So I don't object, literally, and I've said it to a couple people. I say, just to be clear, I don't gain anything from you signing up. I'm talking to you right now because I think this would be a good fit for you. And there's a ways that we can manage this for you and hopefully help you succeed. But it's not out of my attempt to, again, seduce you into getting into the business. The fact is, if I got 100 people in the business, like I said, and they didn't do anything, and they get out, all I've done is lost, 100 friends. So you approach somebody from that standpoint because you think this would be a good fit for them, and you think you can help them succeed. But they won't tell you. They'll wait till you sign up, and they'll say, "Welcome to the team," and you're on your own. So these are just a few of the things, and I'm going to put this in a more kind of concise kind of presentation. But it's things that people should know how to ask about. I did find a list for network marketing checklist. I found this. I wanted to read some of this before I finish up. It's a checklist for you to consider when choosing the right network marketing company. Not all companies are equal in the way they do business, so it pays to do a little background research and see how each one stacks up. I agree with all of these except for the first one. It says, is the company over 10 years old and financially stable? Here's why I don't agree with that. If after 10 years your company's not a success, there's something wrong. And if they are a success, you're talking about such market saturation. It's like jumping into, Rodan and Fields tomorrow. You know what I mean? Everybody's already doing it. So I don't agree with that. I think you definitely look into who is behind, who's the corporate team, to see, have they been in the network marketing industry before? What's happened to their other companies? Again, it's a very, very small, tight, incestuous community, and there's a very small circle of people that bounce around from one company to another, none of whom like binary systems, by the way, because they want to get rich quick. They want to stay in for 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 tops, and move on. So, question number 2, does the company invest in research and development? Yep, we certainly do. And I'll share more of that in a couple of weeks. Are the products highly consumable? Yes, you consume them. That's what we do with our products, except for the topical ones. Are the products unique and not available in normal retail outlets? Yes, they are. Does the company manufacture most of its own products? Yes, we do. Is there a high annual retention rate of people? Yes. Does the compensation plan include a hybrid component, which means, are there ways to make money with a traditional retail model, not just signing people up? Yes. Is there a compression component built in for payment in depth? In other words, do you have a plan where you can benefit from your work as it continues to benefit others and continues to benefit the company? Yes. Does the company pay dollar for dollar on a high percentage of its products? Yes, we do. Are there car and mortgage programs plus travel incentives? Travel, not so much yet, but I have already said I'll take you all to the beach if you kick ass. Is there a simple duplicatable training system available? Well, as you know, we've been working on that. I think we've got something now. Is there a large international presence with national conferences and leadership events? Not yet, but that's coming. So those are the questions they say to look for. The reason I brought that up is that we can answer, My Life Simple ambassadors can answer every single question with a yes there. So we check all the boxes. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. The 4 things that I said on my Facebook Live that I want to share with you, and these are the things that I kind of summarize for people when I say to look for 4 things in an opportunity like this. 1 is company, 2 is product, 3 is comp plan, and 4 is timing. You need all 4 of those things. You really do need all 4 of those things. When I talk about the company, it really, who's running the company and how is it being built? Is it being built to last, or is it more about just adding a bunch of bodies? Which, by the way, folks, is a house of cards, and that's not what we're building here. We're doing something I think quite different. So, is your company being built to last? What good is it if they tell you when you sign up you get paid for 7? You can will this down for 7 generations if the company's gone in 3 years. They won't tell you that. Product. It's important that you can have a product that you can believe in. Personally, I think a lot of the stuff they talk about, they talked about some of the bigger companies too, but I still think where they might have a niche product, there are still a lot of companies with products that basically are just an excuse to wrap a network marketing company around. So this is all about monetizing your passion and finding out what that passion is. If somebody wants to sell Tupperware or Pampered Chef, more power to you. I'll support you however I can. It's not for me. It's not my passion. Or organic cleaning products. I'll use them, but I don't feel passionate about going out and feeling like I'm compelled to share that with everybody. So it's got to be a product that's unique. Having a product that is top shelf, elite, that you can't get anywhere else is important, as the list of questions just pointed out there. Compensation plan. It's so important to understand this, and there is a lot of stuff to understand, and it is interesting to watch it grow and watch it happen. That's how you learn. But the bottom line is understanding how you can make money. That's another really important question, because everybody will tell you, for other companies will It's razzle dazzle. It's a magician. You know, they'll distract you with this hand. Meanwhile, this has got the coin behind his back, you know, as far as how you can make money. Somebody that you're talking to could literally be able to tell you at least one of the ways, exact tangible ways to make a certain amount of money. So you say, how much do you want to make? How much do you want to make a week? And pick a figure. It's got to be reasonable. But if you say, for instance, like we broke this model down 2 weeks ago, somebody says, I want to make $500. Great. I can tell you exactly one of the scenarios. Now, there's some other scenarios where you can make it as well. But there's some unknown factors, some unknown variables in there, such as a person who signs up for an executive director pack and gets 465 BV, for instance. But I can tell you that if you sign up 2 people with executive directors packs at 450 BV, you are a stone's throw away from being able to make $500 if you sell, I don't know, 8 bottles of tincture. That's what you have to do. And that's what the network marketing people won't tell you. They'll make it sound like it's easy. All you got to do is share it. They won't tell you what you need to do to make a certain amount of money. You want to make $10,000 a week? It's possible. Here's how you do it. And again, there's some unknown variables and all of that, but if you can just give them one way so people know what to expect. One of my other approaches is going to be to people that are actually involved or have been involved in other companies. And I'll say, I'll stack up our comp plan and I'll sit down and I will go over every single line item with you and show you why ours is better. Because people will tell you you can make all this money, but sometimes they can't even tell you how. And then you get in, you find out, wait, I got to do what? So my question to people that are in other businesses, and I had this conversation with somebody about 2 weeks ago, is to ask them, are you willing to sit down, and don't try to sell me, I won't try to sell you, but are you willing to sit down and compare your comp plan to ours? Because I'd love to do that. Because I guarantee you, we will kick butt on anything that they're going to bring to the table. Anyway, so comp plan, understanding how exactly you make money and what you have to do in order to achieve it, because they don't tell you what you need to do. Lastly is timing. This is what goes against the whole thing about, is your company 10 years old? Good. I would never get involved in a network marketing company that's 10 years old as far as jumping in, because if they're not saturated, it means they're not doing well. And if they're not doing well after 10 years, I don't know what the next couple of years is going to bring for me. And that's what happens, is there are people that do understand that buying Google stock 25 years ago is an opportunity. It was an opportunity that they missed. Buying Google stock tomorrow, it's not such a big deal. So I do say timing is important. It's got to work for them, but you know, even when people say, I'm not interested right now, cool, that's all right. I'm gonna keep you in the loop though, if that's okay. So timing is very important. So on that note, I'm going to stop. I hope we have lots of questions tonight. So Billy, you can jump in now, and I hope you'll hit your chat bars or unmute your mics and jump in. I hope we have a lot of questions tonight.
Wow, Jeff, thank you. You hit so much information there, clarified a lot of things. I'm not going to say this, guys. I say it all the time. Okay, I am going to say this, guys. This comp plan and this company makes it so amazing for us. I'm not going to say easy, because it's something that the harder you work at it, the more money you can make. And it's all up to you and me and all the other ambassadors. So, Jeff, thank you for clarifying all that. I don't want to take up too much time from everyone for having questions. But this was a great Zoom, a lot of information, and thank you guys for jumping on here.
Again, the thing that I didn't necessarily cover is that when you look at the statistics of the people making money, there are a lot of people that get into the business because they were told something different than what they actually experienced when they got in. There are also people that kind of get seduced by the emotion, like I said. And there are also a lot of who I call historically lazy people who believe that it's possible to make $10,000 a week doing nothing. If somebody tells you you can make a bunch of money doing nothing, run for the hills. It is not possible. And to suggest that you can make a lot of money and that it's easy, it's not easy. But I will tell you, I would rather do this and spend my day talking to people and sharing things with people, doing this, than some of the things that other people have to do for a living. I've been in corporate headquarters, and I'm telling you, the pressure and it's the tension, you could cut it with a knife. I'm like, how do these people do this? They do it every day. They get up and do it work for 40 years just to retire. anyway, so that's my choice. And you want people that can see the possibility and be able to make informed decisions. All right, questions, anybody? All you got to do is unmute your mic. Come on now. There's no questions. Any comments? Any thoughts?
I got a comment. Is it me or somebody else?
Go ahead,
Okay.
Linda.
First of all, great Zoom. You answered every single skeptic question. That was awesome. One of the things that my favorite thing about Reaction, and it's said in Candace's video she did a couple weeks ago, is that this company has allowed us to be able to talk about a really important product. I've seen this product do so many things for so many different kinds of people with different kinds of ailments or whatever, or just for, general health. And I like the fact that we can sit and talk. Like I just got out of the pool and I'm sitting here at my table and I've got a lady that I'm gonna talk more about this. She's got pleurisy. And so her being able to watch this really helps that. But my other thing is that the videos that you guys have done, especially on how to make money, it's simple, it's easy for someone to understand. It's not a bunch of hogwash. Excellent videos. So anybody can do this business, talk about it. Because I've had a lot of people, well, I don't know anything about the product. All you gotta do is watch the videos. It explains it all and it's really easy. And if you're not comfortable talking, show the video. So I think this company has really done a lot. I've been in other MLMs and the only time they want to talk to you is if you're making money. It's just, I've been there, done that. And and if you're making, they never call you. And you guys, everybody's helping everybody, and your Zooms are great because you're giving out everybody this advice, which I think is awesome. And I've never been in an MLM that has been as helpful as that you all have made, and I really appreciate it. And you make it very easy to understand on how to make money. But the most important thing that you said, Jeff, is the people who want to make this work are the people that will make it work. I mean, you have to want. Because I had somebody that thought he was going to make $10,000, and he says, "I'm not making any money," but he hadn't done anything either. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work that way. So, excellent Zoom. I loved watching it tonight, and that was my opinion.
Well, thank you, Lindy. Thank you for the compliments too. So, and on behalf of Billy and Candace and Ronnie, again, thank you for your compliments.
If I want to kind of add something real quick, and then I'll let you talk there. Kind of add to what Lindy just said. What's really special about this is I've talked to a lot of people. As an ambassador, I've talked to a lot of people about Reaction, and I'm passionate. I've signed up people that have hopes and dreams and goals with My Life Simple and Reaction, and they've went out and set out to make a decent amount of money and have fun with it on that side of it. And I've also signed up people like my aunt with Parkinson's as an ambassador to allow her to get 25% off on her products. And it just shows how special it is, because those people that sign up just to receive the products every month, you touched on it earlier, how we're not expected to buy boatloads of products each month and try to figure out how to move those and get stuck with a bunch of costs. We have products that we can consume for ourselves. Reaction My Life Simple has dropped that minimum down, continuing to make changes and grow with us along the way. And I think that's really special, that those people that get in to use these products every month are treated no different than you or me or any other ambassador that's on the Zoom right now. That's probably, in my heart, the coolest part about this, that those people have an opportunity at any time, whether it's today, tomorrow, 6 months, 5 years down the road, to use their website and be able to sell some retail products, or just hop right into business because they've built passion and they want to be able to share this with people. So I just want to share that real quick. I think that direct marketing and network marketing, although it is frowned upon in some people's eyes, is the best way to go out there and share your passion with people in the world. So thank you, Jeff.
Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, the problem is that there's a lot of crappy operations out there, and that's why people feel this. There are stories. If anybody doesn't know what the phrase front loading or garage qualified means, there are people that get into businesses and they think they're going to outwit the system, and so they do what they call become garage qualified. So for instance, if there's a certain reward for achieving a certain level based on people you sign up, or more importantly, product that you buy, people will go out and spend $10,000 on product in order to get to a certain level. I don't think I've ever heard about somebody spending $10,000 to get a $15,000 reward, though. They're spending $10,000 to get a bonus of $2,000. And then what do they have? They have a garage full of products. The people that complain about this business are the ones that either don't know what they're talking about or got into it and didn't succeed. But they didn't succeed for a reason. It's not always just the company. It's always what they expected, maybe what they were told, but certainly some of their own behaviors once they got in. Because again, they believed that you could make a lot of money basically doing nothing. Where I think this is a little bit more, has a little more integrity to it, because we have a product that is backed up by outside science. Another thing about a lot of other companies, you know, again, they'll find the newest thing. It's the acai berry 15 years ago. So the juice was Monavi, and they find the newest thing, and then they basically wrap a company around it. This happened exactly the opposite. This was based on someone's personal experience, Candace's story, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. Anyway, somebody else was gonna ask something there as
Jeff,
well.
I was just going to mention, I've been in various network marketing opportunities. I was just thinking about it since 1980. So,
Wow.
and it's been a few. And this is the first company that I made money right off the bat, and more in and I wasn't doing a lot more than all of the other companies combined.
That's great to hear, and I do believe in this company and what we're doing, and the products, and the way we're continuing to build a foundation. You know, I believe it, and the reason why I had this as a sneak preview tonight is because it's going to be a different presentation than what I do on Facebook Live. And it was my hunch, and you know, chip in here, guys, if you have anything to say. But it was my suspicion that that there are a lot of you that really carry this around in your head, that don't know how to answer these questions, that don't know how to address them, that don't know how to confront them, and with real answers. So I thought it was important for all of you to understand what makes us different, what makes us different than all the other junk out there. Anybody else? Any more questions? All right, so if there are no more questions, again, as always, thank you for your time. Again, next Wednesday night will be the product Zoom, and the following Wednesday will be our corporate Zoom. And I will also be posting something about my Facebook Live. Like I said, I hope to do that Thursday night if things go according to plan, and I can figure it out without the help of an 8-year-old. And that's no sure thing. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Stay tuned, keep your heads up, patience. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but I hope this allows you to go out and talk about this in a way that you believe is different and better, because we really, really are. I know we've been saying that for a long time, but it's true. We really are quite different. So on that night, we'll call it. Everybody stay safe and healthy where you're at. And we'll see you next week or 2 weeks.
Thank you, everyone.